Will return to the White House within the hour from a long weekend at Camp David. His first order of business, a series of public events designed to brace the American public for a possible military strike. It begins with an address tomorrow at the Pentagon to military leaders and personnel. You can watch it live tomorrow on NBC10 at about noon.
Also overseas tonight, officials are trying to find the reason for the worst air crash in Taiwan's history. 205 people were killed when the China Airlines jet plowed into a neighborhood. 4 Americans were on that flight from the resort island of Bali. The crash near Taipei's airport also killed 9 people on the ground, including a baby. Rescue workers could find only small pieces of the twin-engine Airbus. The pilot was several hundred yards short of the runway on a second approach in heavy fog and rain. Airport officials said visibility was adequate for the landing.
Deliberations resume in the morning in the murder trial of former cadet Diane Zamora. Zamora is accused of helping her boyfriend kill a young woman who had a one-time fling with him. Zamora took the stand to defend herself. At issue, exactly what was used to hit the victim on the head.
I don't care who hit her in the head and knocked a hole in the head. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's the weight. It doesn't matter if it's the gun. Did it happen? And did she aid, assist, and promote, help David Graham do it?
But the statements don't add up. The statements don't jive. They're not consistent with each other.
David Graham will be tried separately. If found guilty, Zamora could receive life in prison.
Tonight, drinking is being blamed for the death of a 21-year-old Penn State student. Joseph Bettinger fell and hit his head on the sidewalk on Saturday. He was treated for head trauma, but died the next day. Witnesses say Bettinger appeared to be intoxicated when he fell. Raunchy rock star Marilyn Manson drew a crowd of thousands tonight in Philadelphia, and he didn't have to sing a note. The controversial heavy metal star was at Tower Books on South Street to sign his new autobiography. It's called The Long, Hard Road Out of Hell. And fans of the controversial superstar lined up at dawn in order to get in here. Chopper 10 shows you the long line wrapping around the corner and down the street. Some say Manson's lyrics are sexually offensive and anti-religion. Some protesters turned out to give Manson the message themselves. Jesus lives! A group set up across the street to sing religious songs about salvation. Manson fans say, don't take him so seriously.
Well, when was the last time you saw such cheap gas around here? Down to 89 cents a gallon. News 10 in Cherry Hill tonight. Just look at the pump price at this gas station on Route 70. The reason for cheap gas? Trickle-down effect of warm weather easing demand on heating oil.
Still to come on News 10 at 11. Charles Barkley is making headlines again. Tonight he explains why he's quit drinking.
Also ahead, whose body has been beneath Saddam Hussein versus President Clinton. Who will back down first? Tonight,
new developments as the U.S. marches closer to war. Good evening. I'm Renee Chenault.
And I'm Larry Menti. Our top story on News 10 at 11. A new diplomatic effort is launched in the standoff with Iraq. The United Nations Secretary General is going to Iraq this week on an extraordinary mission. His goal? To stop Operation Desert Thunder in its tracks with some high-powered diplomacy. Kofi Annan made the announcement just a few hours ago at the UN. Annan will arrive in Baghdad on Friday to try to resolve the weapons inspections crisis. The Secretary General says he hopes to return with a diplomatic solution in hand. Now, earlier this afternoon, President Clinton went to the Pentagon to make sure U.S. troops are ready for battle if necessary. And he explained to an audience of defense employees and the nation watching on live TV what would happen if Saddam Hussein does not back down.
He will then conclude that he can go right on and do more to rebuild an arsenal of devastating destruction. And someday, some way, I guarantee you, he'll use the arsenal. Let there be no doubt, we are prepared to act.
And NBC News has learned that in a phone call to Kofi Annan today, President Clinton urged him not to give any ground on the weapons inspections issue. In Baghdad today, Saddam Hussein met with his nation's main decision-making body. They talked about Iraq's own diplomatic efforts to resolve the issue. Saddam says he'll welcome a visit from the UN Secretary General. Well, some experts say airstrikes right now are inevitable, but is it what Americans want?
Tonight, News 10 conducted a brand new exclusive bullet poll after the president's speech. We asked 500 people in our area if they are behind the U.S. strategy. We asked, do you think the United States should or should not bomb Iraq? More than half, 56%, said the U.S. should bomb Iraq. 31% said we should not. 13% weren't sure. Our exclusive News 10 bullet poll has a margin of error of plus or minus 4.5%. Well, whatever does happen, of course, stay tuned to News 10 for the very latest developments in Operation Desert Thunder.
Tonight, a grand jury witness in the Clinton investigation has done an about-face. Retired Secret Service officer Louis Fox took the stand. Fox has publicly said he saw Monica Lewinsky go into the Oval Office with the president and spend time alone with him. But today, his lawyer says Fox can't be sure they were alone. The grand jury is looking into allegations that Lewinsky and the president had an affair and that he told her to lie about it. Here's the latest in the investigation. There's no word on when Lewinsky's mother, Marcia Lewis, will return to the witness stand, and the earliest Lewinsky is expected to testify is sometime next week. And a surprising comment tonight from someone inside the White House. White House spokesman Mike McCurry spoke out in detail for the first time about the Lewinsky scandal. McCurry told the Chicago Tribune, quote, "Maybe there'll be a simple, innocent explanation. I don't think so, though, because I think we would have offered that up already." McCurry later said the quotes are accurate, but admitted he regrets making the comments.
Well, a legal victory tonight for talk show host Oprah Winfrey in her Texas beef lawsuit. The talk show host was upbeat as she left court in Fort Worth today, and for good reason. A federal judge took a big bite out of the cattleman's case. Now, the judge ruled the veggie libel law, which protects perishable food from false statements, does not apply in this case. However, the judge did not throw out the entire case. Observers say the cattleman must now prove that Winfrey intentionally tried to hurt their industry with comments made on her show. Well, those comments came during an Oprah episode in April of 1996. Winfrey's topic that day, whether mad cow disease in Great Britain was a concern for U.S. beef consumers. Here's part of what Oprah said.
"It has just stopped me cold from eating another burger."
Well, Texas beef producers claim Oprah's comments caused cattle prices to plunge. Defense attorneys said the cattlemen had no case because they were not personally mentioned during the show. Winfrey's lawyers will begin presenting their case tomorrow. Well, here's some legal analysis in all of this. This is indeed a big win for Oprah. Her attorneys argued the so-called veggie law violated freedom of speech and that since it is a veggie law, it shouldn't be applied to cattle. Well, the judge didn't address those claims, saying only that the cattlemen did not have a case based on the veggie law. Now, they can still sue Oprah based on common law defamation, but this is a very hard case to prove. The cattlemen will have to show that Oprah's comments were false, malicious, and that she mentioned the cattlemen by name, and that did not happen.
We have seen her crying on the stand. We've seen her chin quivering. But as Diana Zamora's verdict in the Texas cadet murder trial was read, her face went blank.
The jury found the defendant Diane Michelle Zamora guilty of the offense of capital murder as alleged in the indictment.
A Texas jury convicted Zamora of killing her romantic rival Adrian Jones in 1995. Zamora may have been stone-faced today, but there was no shortage of emotion from the victim's family.
We will never know what heights she would have risen to because of this animal act.
She meant a lot to me. And when she died, something was ripped out of my heart that will never be replaced.
Zamora, the 20-year-old former Navy midshipman, received an automatic life sentence. She will be eligible for parole in 40 years. Her ex-fiancé, David Graham, will be tried for the same murder later this year.
Tonight, a Frankfurt store owner shot a would-be robber. News 10 at Cheltenham and Large Streets, where police say 3 people tried to hold up the Northeast beer distributor. Detectives say the owner shot one suspect in the back. News 10 checked with Temple Hospital at around 10:45 tonight, where the suspect is in surgery. Police have not caught the other 2 suspects. And another story of fighting back tonight. A local senior citizen was sexually assaulted by an attacker. And when he tried it again, she wasn't about to let him get away with it. She told her full story to News 10's Siani Lee, who is live in Chester tonight. Siani.
Good evening, Renee. Chester City Police have a 16-year-old boy behind bars tonight. He is accused of sexually assaulting a 65-year-old woman back on January 5th, and police say that he broke into the woman's home again early yesterday morning. The victim told us her incredible story of survival tonight.
Then she started to growl, and she ran up to the top of the stairs and growled even louder. And then she ran in my room and hid. And at that point, I knew somebody was in the house.
Downstairs, the suspect was in the kitchen where he grabbed a knife. Seconds later, he was in the victim's bedroom. He turned on the light and confronted the 65-year-old woman who was still in bed.
He said to me, "Do you have any money?" I said, "I have $3. And he said, "I want you." And I said, "Please put down the knife." I said, "I don't want you to hurt me." And he put the knife down.
The elderly woman surprised the suspect with this stun gun hidden underneath her blanket.
I lunged towards him. He screamed and ran, grabbed the knife again, and ran out of the room. And I slammed the door and locked it.
The woman called 911. 3 hours later, Chester City Police arrested the 16-year-old suspect a few blocks from her home. Throughout the terrifying encounter, the victim managed to stay calm. And back on January 5th, seconds before she was sexually assaulted by the same 16-year-old, she even cooked for the hungry suspect.
And I took some food out of the refrigerator and proceeded to cut it up. He said, "Could you heat it up in the microwave?" So I said, "Sure," and I put it in the microwave, and when I turned around, that was it.
Tonight, police are looking into whether the 16-year-old boy may have been involved in the attempted rape of an 85-year-old woman near Widener University. As for the 65-year-old victim we talked with tonight, she plans to move out of her neighborhood. Live in Chester, Siani Lee, News 10.
She's a brave lady. Thank you, Siani. In South Jersey tonight, police have failed to find a second explosive device at Overbrook Senior High School. News 10 in Pine Hill, when the Camden County Bomb Squad found a suspicious package on the school's roof, it contained all of the ingredients of a bomb except for a detonator. A note threatened a second bomb was on the premises. Now, this is the 16th bomb scare to chase students from their classes this year. A special task force is on the case tonight.
Tonight's rainy weather is the apparent cause of a traffic accident in Kensington. News 10 on the scene at Kensington and Lehigh. The driver of the truck says he slid around the corner and slammed into two parked cars. The impact sent a light pole crashing to the ground, but nobody was hurt. Residents along the Jersey and Delaware shores got a little break in the weather tonight. News 10 caught some windy rain on the boardwalk in Ventnor, but no nor'easters. Good news considering the flooding and storm damage the past few weeks. News 10 meteorologist John Baleris is live in the Earthwatch Weather Center with the latest on this current system. What's it doing, John?
Yeah, Larry, we have an interesting development tonight. We're going to go right to the radar, and we have a line of heavy showers and thunderstorms developing. Look to the west towards Harrisburg down to Washington, D.C. Watch the bright red begin to flare up. That is a warm front that is moving this way, and with it, a line of some very heavy showers. I'll let you know when those showers will move in. Plus, your 5-day forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Larry and Renee.
All right, John. Well, tonight in Center City, it was a night to celebrate Black History Month.
Students from the School of Creative and Performing Arts provided the entertainment, and they were just great tonight. NBC10 President and General Manager Pat Wallace hosted hundreds of local leaders in the African-American community. Members of the News 10 family showed up in full force to emphasize our commitment to celebrate Black heritage in Philadelphia.
They really were fabulous tonight.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, Kappa kids are the best. Still to come on News 10 at 11. A mother scares off someone police say tried to snatch her baby at a local grocery store. Details ahead in a live report.
Chalk this one up to amazing medical technology. A baby is born 7 years after his twin brother. How is it possible? News 10 medical editor Sherry Bank explains in the Health Watch.
And News 10 consumer reporter Orion Reed goes undercover to investigate over-the-counter drugs. It's information that will protect your family. Still ahead on News 10.
You're watching News 10 at 11.
Later on an all-new Tonight Show, find out who the big stars at the Olympics really are.
What does he look like he does? He looks like a country singer.
Then Woody Harrelson isn't living in a teepee anymore.
We're in a hut. We're in a hut now.
Sounds good. So,
Plus actress Allie Landry, Patti LaBelle, and Jay has a bad day at the DMV. Stay up for Woody Harrelson and Patti LaBelle. Then
It's Tom Selleck.
very good, Conan. And this is Saturday Night Live's Anna Gasteyer. And from the Westminster Dog Show Talent Competition highlights.
Imagine a place that surrounds you with elegance and pampers you with luxury.
Williams, the car, please.
Presenting the Infiniti QX4, an elegant luxury car.
Williams, while we're young.
In a Sherman tank kind of way. The QX4. Own one, and you'll understand.
First door on your left. You know, I don't know, this may sound weird. You and me and here together tonight. It's working, right?
Medicine cabinets and everything else for your bed and bath at IKEA's bedroom event. New beds and everything else for your bed and bath at IKEA's bedroom event.
Balance your budget during the Dodge President's Week event, where you can demonstrate fiscal responsibility by acquiring the award-winning Dodge Stratus, starting at just $13,875 after cash back. Or instead, you could choose low 1.9 financing for up to 60 months, which makes for equally sound economic policy. Get to the Dodge President's Week event and start slashing your transportation expenses now. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
She fell in love with him.
I love you.
Until he fell into a coma.
Who's she?
She's his fiance.
Then his brother fell in love with her.
I was never envious of anything that you had, till now.
One woman in love with two men.
You're cheating on a vegetable.
For the first time on network television, Sandra Bullock,
I didn't mean for this to happen.
Bill Pullman,
Welcome to the family.
and Peter Gallagher.
Will you marry me?
In the romantic comedy everyone fell in love with, While You Were Sleeping, Monday at 8/7 Central on NBC.
You're watching News 10 at 11.
Tonight, a mother's nightmare in a suburban parking lot. She turned her back for 1 second, and police say a man tried to grab her son. News 10's Doug Schimel is live with this story. Doug.
Well, parents are holding their kids a little tighter tonight, fearing that a possible child abductor may still be out there.
Buckle up, guys.
Arena Johnson says she knew she was taking a chance shopping in the wake of an attempted child snatching.
I'm very afraid, but I really had to come shopping tonight. But they said they have a lot of security around the building now.
It could happen to anybody, anybody's child, or it could be yours, anybody else's.
After shopping at Redner's Market in Richland Township Monday afternoon, a woman wheeled her 14-month-old son to the car in a shopping cart and began unloading groceries.
At that time, a male unknown to her approached and attempted to remove her child from the shopping cart.
He would have been successful, but state police say the little boy was safely belted in.
Now, investigators say they're looking for a white male about 25 years old with long, scraggly, dirty blonde hair wearing a bomber jacket. If you think you know who that is, call the Pennsylvania State Police. Reporting live, I'm Doug Schimel, News 10.
An interesting revelation tonight about sunscreens. Scientists meeting in Philadelphia say those creams and lotions do not necessarily keep people from getting deadly skin cancer. Melanoma cases have risen dramatically over the last 25 years, even as sunscreen use became more common. Sunscreens do prevent sunburns, and many experts say you should not stop using them.
On the News 10 Health Watch tonight, a doctor in California says his patient has given birth to the world's oldest newborn. But as medical editor Sherry Bank reports, a local hospital begs to differ.
The saga begins in California, where Dr. Michael Vermesh claims his patient gave birth to the nation's oldest newborn using an embryo that had been frozen for 7.5 years.
There they are.
Sorry, Dr. Vermesh. At the in vitro fertilization clinic at Pennsylvania Hospital, Dr. Catherine Go had already had similar results.
And the only difference we wish to point out is that ours were frozen for a full 8 years. Dr. Vermesh's were frozen for 7.5 years.
Embryos are created after an egg and sperm are mixed in the lab. Some of them are then frozen. But Dr. Go says regardless of whose embryo was frozen the longest, the two births show the process is theoretically limitless.
It makes it reasonable to assume that if the embryos are properly maintained in their frozen condition, there may be no physiologic limit.
According to Dr. Go, the important thing is both patients gave birth to a healthy child.
We certainly are not in a contest with anyone for having the oldest embryo give rise to a pregnancy. We simply want to add to what's known about the effectiveness of having frozen embryos.
The frozen embryo technology means a child born today might actually be a fraternal twin with a sibling who was born 7 or 8 years ago. On the Health Watch, Sherry Bank, News 10.
More of Sherry tomorrow night at 11, because tomorrow night, alternative healing. We'll take a look at how alternative medicine is gaining approval from the traditional medical community. From acupuncture to herbs, some of these treatments are proving very effective. News 10 medical editor Sherry Bank has the latest on alternative healing. A Health Watch special report tomorrow on News 10 at 11, right after Law and Order. Well, if you use over-the-counter medicine, we've got some advice for you tonight. You better read more than just the label. In tonight's News 10 special hidden camera investigation, consumer reporter Orion Reed finds expired drugs are on the shelves in some drugstores.
Watch these shoppers pick up over-the-counter drugs for colds, flu, and headaches. They read the labels, but never checked the expiration dates.
I probably should have checked the date.
Never occurred to me.
Start checking those dates, because with our News 10 hidden camera, we found some stores had drugs which were more than 2 years out of date.
It's rare to go in and not find some expired items on the shelves.
Louis Human says he recently bought an antacid with an expired date, returned it to the store, and reported it to a manager.
I bought the product in, that was December of '97. The expiration date was June or July of '97. And a week later, after my complaint, the items were still on the shelves.
We decided to check 3 stores in each of the largest drugstore chains in the Philadelphia area. This Rite Aid had a total of 98 items with expired dates. The Rite Aid at Broad and Oxford had 25 expired items, 5 of which had a date back to August and September of 1996.
Rite Aid wasn't the store with the largest number of expired drugs. I found 164 expired items in this drug emporium here in Roslyn. Among them, a product for diarrhea with an expiration date of June 1996.
There were 25 expired items in the Drug Emporium on Castor Avenue in the Northeast, and 11 at the Drug Emporium in East Norriton. At Eckerd's, we found 15 at the Upper Darby store, 4 at Aramingo, and only 1 at the 57th and Vine store in West Philadelphia. The CVS stores we checked in Chestnut Hill, Harbison Avenue, and Baltimore Pike in Delaware County had no expired over-the-counter drugs when we did our survey. We also found no expired drugs in the Rite Aid on Westchester Pike. Could expired drugs make you sick? Professor of Pharmacy Dr. Daniel Hussar says no, but some drugs could be less effective.
Aspirin can break down. This is one of the medications that is more likely to deteriorate after a considerable period of time. There would be a loss of potency, and we might be accustomed to taking 1 tablet or 2 tablets and getting the expected relief. And if it has deteriorated, we're not going to get the benefit that we're looking for.
The manufacturers of the expired drugs we found agreed. While the drugs won't make us sick, some may not work as well because they're less potent.
The best thing about this story, the drugstores have already made some changes since we called them about our findings.
Rite Aid says its store managers are supposed to remove drugs before they expire. Because of our story, Rite Aid says any customers who have bought outdated products in their stores should return them for a full refund or exchange. Drug Emporium and Eckerd say having expired drugs is against store policy. They're beefing up their monitoring system. But you should also remember, As you check the label, also check the dates. Orion Reed, News 10.
Can't be too careful.
I was out driving with John tonight. He was like a weather detective. It was pouring rain, and he was right on the phone saying, "What's going on here?"
Hey, that's his job. Stay on top of the weather.
Yeah, things a little bit crazy this evening. Actually, spring-like showers and maybe even some heavy thunderstorms popping up on radar. We're going to get to that in a minute. First, let's check out one of our weather nets, Russell Knight School in Cherry Hill. Temperatures, as we told you earlier today, continued to rise throughout the night. Now up to 53 at Russell Knight. And you got one of those heavier showers right now. Look at that. Over an inch of rain in the old rain bucket. The official high so far today, 50 degrees. We went up 5 degrees since 6 o'clock. The normal high 41, record high 68. All right, get ready to rumble. Some showers and heavy thunderstorms moving in from the west as the warm front approaches. Look at the temperatures in the 40s to the mid-50s. Warm front not through Allentown or the Poconos with temperatures there in the 30s. Doppler radar picking up those isolated hit-and-miss localized heavy showers and maybe a few rumbles of thunder. Look at this, east of the city, the red, through central Jersey and on up towards Doylestown. You can see there some of the heaviest showers Larry and I rode through a little while ago as we came back from the function this evening. Now watch, we pull back on the radar, and you can see this line we developed from D.C. to Harrisburg, on up to Lancaster, on up to the Williamsport. That line right there, we call it connecting the dots. When they start to connect the dots, the little cells get together. It forms a line, the cells being the showers and heavy thunderstorms. And that's what's happening this evening. And that will be moving through here over the next couple of hours. So get ready, some more localized heavy showers and perhaps even a heavy thunderstorm as that line begins to move through. Exclusive Earthwatch Fly picking up the line. Note the bright red and the lightning right there. That line developing now as we speak and is beginning to swing through, and that will come through next few hours. And yet you can see the clouds extend all the way back to the west. That means things won't change in a hurry. Tomorrow, some sun now, some clouds, and maybe late day showers. We may get what we call a dry wedge tomorrow morning. That will allow for a little sunshine. And if we get the sunshine, we may hit 60 degrees tomorrow in February. Forecast for tonight, localized heavy showers, the possibility of a T-boomer ending overnight. Lows around 50. Tomorrow, look at this, some sun, then late showers, mild spring-like, 55 to 60. Your 5-day forecast. Spring-like tomorrow, Thursday, showers 53, Friday a few drops. The weekend, looking great as we move into the weekend. Sunshine returns. It dries out completely over the weekend and just dandy by Sunday. But you may wake up in the overnight hours with a rumble of thunder.
Okay.
All right.
You talked about it drying out. It's not dried out just yet. Watch, look at this. Weather causing problems at this hour. This is a live picture from Route 130 near the Collingswood.